Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was on a relentless criticism spree, and then came United States of America's massive praise for India's democracy, terming our country's democracy as vibrant. White House official spoke at length about how India is a key partner for the United States, and this is just ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit. Take a look at this special report first.
India is a vibrant democracy. Anybody that happens to go to New Delhi can see that for themselves.
High praise for Indian democracy. A White House official on Monday rejected criticism around the health of democracy in India, calling it vibrant. White House official John Kirby also elaborated how India is a crucial ally for the United States.
India is a strong partner on very many levels with the United States. You saw that in Shangri-La, Secretary Austin announced some additional defense cooperation now that we're going to pursue with India. Of course, there's an awful lot of economic trade between our two countries. India is a member of the Pacific Quad and a key friend and partner with respect to Indo-Pacific security. I could go on and on and on.
The American assertion comes at a time when Rahul Gandhi is in the US. The Congress leader has targeted the Narendra Modi government over a host of issues, including alleged misuse of central agencies and the need for democracy.
India has to do what's in its self-interest, right? And that's what will guide us. But as a people, we are committed to a democratic vision. So I myself am not entirely convinced about the sort of autocratic vision that is being promoted.
Kirby's words of praise comes a day after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met his counterpart Lloyd Austin in New Delhi. The two held strategic talks focusing on free, open and rules-bound Indo-Pacific region. The White House statement also assumed significance as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting the US from June 21st to 24th. He's set to address a joint session of the US Congress on June the 22nd. He'll be the first Indian Prime Minister to address the US Congress twice. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, this is very interesting, and the reason for that is, remember that Rahul Gandhi has been on a 3-city tour, going on a spree against the government, and how the situation is deteriorating every day in different sectors in India is what he has been claiming, specifically with interacting to Indian diaspora. Let me take you through then the charges that were made by Rahul Gandhi, and then came by Washington this big statement. So what did Rahul Gandhi say? And it's not the first time that he's made that comment, and I want to take you through. In the last few days, he has said, remember that Prime Minister believes that he knows more than God, and he said that in the USA, that he's been there for the past few days, that there's no concept of opposition in India. BJP and RSS are infiltrating our institutions, and our microphones are switched off in the parliament even when we try and speak up. He said this at the Cambridge University and then in the USA as well. So repeated stance that he's taken. Remember last year as well in the UK, he had said soul of India is under attack. An attack from the BJP. India's voice is being crushed under Narendra Modi's government. The CBI and the ED are chewing the Indian state like Pakistan. So he was comparing India to Pakistan on foreign soil. There was, of course, the allegations of whether he was asking for any sort of foreign interference. But that's not all. Remember, way back in 2018, he had said that Prime Minister Modi is misusing public resentment over issues, and that there are more populist measures, that this is leading to the damage of the country. He's riding on inability, Rahul Gandhi had claimed, to solve unemployment, and that nothing is basically happening in and around India. In Singapore in 2018, he had said it's basically a general atmosphere of intimidation in India now. So the situation has completely changed, deteriorated in the country. There is divisive politics to win elections. That is the strategy of the BJP. We had plurality and freedom once in India, and that is being challenged now, is what Rahul Gandhi has been saying each time he is on a foreign visit. But this time, the statement coming in from Washington has perhaps put a question mark on that. It is very interesting how the reactions have been coming in from senior White House officials as well. So let's put this in perspective now. Joining me, our Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan for the latest on that. Geeta, it's very interesting, you know, this remark that has come by Prime Minister, by the White House official on India, on the visit, is ahead of the visit by Prime Minister Modi. But this has repercussions on domestic politics as well. According to you, how should we view this statement?
Well, Pooja, it does have repercussions in terms of how the opposition views it. Now, if the opposition is going to take statements that are put out from reports of the USCIRF, that's a State Department commissioned independent body that looks at religious freedom, and uses that report to take on the government, then they should also look at the statements that have been made by the White House on democracy and democracy in India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Having said that, we do know that the United States of America, Pooja, is also treading carefully because there are a lot of important deals that have to be signed, and Prime Minister Modi's visit is being given utmost importance by Washington DC. So it's not about what the impact is going to be back home. It's about how much can one trust America's statements on India and India's record of human rights.
The bigger question is US also realizing the global position that India is beginning to show abroad, and is that the reason that even Washington is making it very clear what they think of Prime Minister Modi and India's democracy as well? Geeta, I request you to stay on because what she said is also interesting. Remember, there have been a lot of flip-flops by the United States of America on India, and I want to take you through that as well. In March 2023, remember, US is saying India witnessing human rights violations last year. They were quoting this Religious Freedom Index. They were trying to put India down, and also added that religious freedom in India is under threat. Now, what was the reason that they were beginning to claim and come forth with this? According to their data, it suggested that religious freedom in India is under threat. And now they say it is one of the vibrant democracies of the world. So remember what is happening, the statements that are changing even by the United States of America. Also adding, remember before that, they had begun to say that there is about minorities, that they had said in June 2022 that there are attacks on minorities in India throughout 2021. Through the year they are claiming that minorities are being targeted. Then remember on the CAA, when India was ensuring that the persecuted communities in our neighboring nations get shelter in India, to that they said new Indian citizenship law is discriminatory against Muslims. Even on NRC they had given statements, a law that was never even put in place. And finally in June 2019 they had said the report on religious freedom notes mob attacks in India. And that is why it is imperative to mention that as India is becoming a rising global power, it is questioning the set global order. USA is also forced to change its statements. Our Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan continues to be with us. Geeta, that is my point. New Delhi will also be very cautious on how much to trust the USA, how to present their response in terms of what the Washington has said. Has there been a response yet from the Foreign Affairs Ministry on appreciating, calling us a vibrant democracy now ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit?
Well, no official word as of now, Pooja, with regards to the statement that has come out of the White House. But again, like you said, treading cautiously would be being on the right side of the order right now, given the kind of statements that we've seen from Washington DC, from the United States of America. But also remember that right now the trajectory of the relationship is on is moving towards and at a pace where they are looking at really important deals, and they're also looking at taking forward the strategic partnership between the two countries to another level. In that, the kind of statements that are coming from White House is what we've heard from Ambassador Eric Garcetti as well, when he said that India is indeed a democracy. If you're in New Delhi, you'll feel it, you'll experience it, and that's exactly what John Kirby also said. So while, you know, India could welcome these statements, India is also wary of the fact that there are other independent commissions that are rather harsh on India and India's record, human rights record, or record on minorities and handling of minorities within the country. So no statement so far from the Indian administration, but yes, all eyes to what the relationship and what relations between India and US could look like when Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes for his first state visit to the United States of America.
Very interesting. So an official visit very soon, but India treading very cautiously to see how the United States of America has been reacting previously and how that statement has come just a few hours ago. I request you to stay on with me, Geeta Mohan, because what's happening is, remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit the United States of America this month. June 21st to June 24th, that visit is scheduled. What does that mean? For the time in years, Modi will be traveling to the United States of America. It's an official visit. He will be hosted by US President Joe Biden at the White House. So what happens? What is the itinerary like? And it's a packed schedule. On 21st of June, United States of America's President Joe Biden will host the Prime Minister at White House. Then on the next day, there is a state dinner that has been scheduled for the Prime Minister at the White House. And he's also been invited to address a joint session of the US Congress. So it's specifically the 22nd of June, where we'll have likely an important statement coming up and the manner in which he could be hosted there in the country. Remember, it's very interesting how even US President Joe Biden has been reacting on Prime Minister Modi lately. He has said now that Modi is demonstrating that democracies matter. Prime Minister Modi is too popular, he says, in the United States of America. Many want to attend the Modi's US event that is being scheduled. And that he has a significant impact on the Quad and the summit that was recently cancelled, but that's where one of the visuals had come in Japan when they had met. Modi has influence in the Indo-Pacific region. Again, a recent visit that we had seen of Prime Minister where he was interacting with the island nations as well. And then he says, Prime Minister Modi is making a difference. Will India be cautious right now? Interesting remarks coming in from the US President Joe Biden. And as Geeta continues to be with us, Geeta, you know, of course, there has been bonhomie that we have seen with the previous US President Donald Trump, now with Joe Biden as well. Clearly, at some level, the United States of America, can we say, is there an acknowledgement of sorts that India is a country you cannot ignore? It is a rising power and you will have to be friends with this nation.
Absolutely, Pooja. Undoubtedly so. India is indeed a rising power. India is one of the biggest markets and also is now tipped to become one of the most important countries when it comes to resilient supply chains. If there are nations that are looking at alternatives to China, then India is emerging as one of the most important alternatives. So India is a country that cannot be ignored. Is the reason why we are looking at a very different way in the manner in which the West is handling India on issues in the past that India would have had to deal with a lot of criticism. No longer is that criticism coming India's way. What we're looking at is all of them looking to the importance of India in the larger perspective, in the larger geopolitics of things. And
it has a lot to do with the economic stability that India has presented at a time when the Western nations are at the brink of recession.
Absolutely, and that's why the resilient supply chain, where India is going to play a key role, yes, and is going to become a key partner to many nations in the West.
All right, Geeta Mohan continues to be with us. Remember, of course, it is going to be a much-awaited visit of Prime Minister Modi in the USA. What does he say? What will be the statement from the US President will be very crucial as well. But External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who was also abroad for a BRICS meeting, refused to comment on India's domestic matters on foreign soil, and specifically in the backdrop of how Rahul Gandhi has been all guns blazing in his visit in the USA. He has been slamming Modi government over a range of issues. This report will tell you more of what Rahul Gandhi has been saying and how our External Affairs Minister is reacting or not to it.
Two Indian leaders, one from the ruling party and the other from the opposition, are abroad interacting with the diaspora and holding meetings. Their approach totally different. If Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is using much of his time to target Prime Minister Narendra Modi, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is refusing to delve on Indian domestic politics.
I try when I go abroad not to do politics abroad. You know, even a democratic culture has a certain collective responsibility. There is a national interest, there is a collective image. There are sometimes things bigger than politics. And when you step outside the country, I think that's important to remember. So I may differ strongly with someone. I could say to you I differ with them, but how I countered it, I would like to go back at home and do it, and watch me when I get back.
While responding to a question at a diaspora meet in Cape Town, South Africa after the BRICS meet, Jaishankar did not name any leader, but his reference to Rahul Gandhi was obvious. In contrast, Rahul Gandhi has been attacking Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his speeches in the United States.
All of you came here by car, using your cars. Imagine if the only thing you did was look in the rear view mirror. And it's the same idea with the BJP, with the RSS, all of them. You listen to them. You listen to their ministers. You listen to the Prime Minister. You will never find them talking about the future. They will only talk about the past.
Rahul had earlier accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of playing God.
We have a group of people in India who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. In fact, I think they think maybe they know even more than God. They could sit down with God and have a conversation and explain to him, about what is going on. And of course, our Prime Minister is one such specimen. I think if you sat Modi ji down next to God, Modi ji would start explaining to God how the universe works.
While Rahul Gandhi is often criticized for attacking the Modi government on foreign soil, the Congress points to the Prime Minister's speeches abroad that have targeted earlier governments. But should Indian leaders be taking domestic political feuds abroad at all? It's a debate that is raging but not settled yet. Bureau Report, India Today.
So remarks on the foreign soil, but there are counter remarks here as well. After those comments on Prime Minister Modi in the United States of America by Rahul Gandhi, BJP President JP Nadda launched a scathing attack on Rahul Gandhi. Nadda has said that Rahul Gandhi opened a mega shopping mall of hate and further accused him of trying to divide Hindus and Muslims. Nadda has said, I quote him here, whenever India set a new record, the Yuvraj of Congress party could not digest India's pride. Remember, Rahul Gandhi was speaking at the University of California and said that India was being run by a group of people who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. He was basically mocking Prime Minister Modi, saying he's even capable of explaining things to God if he gets a chance.
दुनिया की वैक्सीन की तारीफ कर रहे हो और दुनिया भारत की वैक्सीन लेने के लिए तैयार बैठी है। 100 देशों ने भारत की वैक्सीन ली और तुम भारत की वैक्सीन पर प्रश्न खड़े करते हो और दुनिया की वैक्सीन की प्रशंसा करते हैं। अगर मैं बात करूं तो आप सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक पर प्रश्न खड़ा करते हैं। आप हिंदू मुस्लिम को डिवाइड करने की बात करते हैं और एक तरीके से विभाजन के समाज में डिवीजन हो, इस बात को आप प्रयास करते हैं और ऊपर से आप कहते हैं कि हम मोहब्बत की दुकान चला रहे हैं। अरे आप नफरत का मेगा शॉपिंग मॉल खोल करके बैठे।
इस समय देश के बाहर जाके और आप ये क्रिटिसिज्म शुरू कर देते हैं, उस दिन माइनॉरिटीज पे शुरू हो गए, तो मैंने याद करवाया इनको माइनॉरिटीज पे आप शुरू हो गए। आपको याद है जब आपकी 13 साल उम्र थी तो नेली में मैसेकर हुआ था, 2000 हमारे एक माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी के हमारे भाई बहन मारे गए। जब आपकी 14 साल उम्र थी तो सिखों के खिलाफ क्या अत्याचार हुआ, 3000 हमारे सिख भाई मारे गए। तो ये बाहर जाके ऐसी बयान नहीं देने चाहिए उनको और उनको अपने समय याद करना चाहिए।
We have a group of people in India who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. In fact, I think they think maybe they know even more than God. They could sit down with God and have a conversation and explain to him, about what is going on. And of course, our Prime Minister is one such specimen. I think if you sat Modi ji down next to God, Modi ji would start explaining to God how the universe works. Right? Yes, and God would get confused that what have I created?
So these are funny things.
राहुल गांधी जी ने बिल्कुल सही कहा। मोदी जी रियर व्यू से पीछे को देखते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी क्या बातें करती है? टीपू सुल्तान की डेथ कैसे हुई, उसको कोलेस्ट्रॉल हो गया, मलेरिया हो गया। मोदी सरकार इतिहास और पास्ट में इतनी ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व हो गई, ना तो उनको प्रेजेंट दिख रहा। अगर प्रेजेंट दिखता तो भारत की बेटियों के मान सम्मान के लिए कड़ी कार्रवाई उस व्यक्ति के खिलाफ करती जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एमपी बना हुआ, और अगर फ्यूचर दिखता तो इकोनॉमी में ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स का उपयोग किया जाता जो आने वाले समय में लोगों के रोजगार का सृजन कर सके। तो राहुल जी ने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा।